Hey everybody. One unit down, new unit to begin. So I hope with the old unit, with the ancient civilizations, you learned a little something. You saw how they were the foundation to what we have today. Hopefully you can understand what Western civilization is and how we got it, and the contributions of the Greeks, and how devastating the Library of Alexandria burning down was. So not to belabor the past, we will move on with our brand new unit, something I always enjoyed teaching, comparative religion. And I will make a claim that you cannot tell the human story without exploring the role religion has played. And I think that's a tough claim to argue against. So here were the questions I asked you in class today. What purpose or purposes does religion serve for people and societies? Number two, controversial, lots of good talks. If there were no religions, if all religion was gone and no one followed any religious teachings, what would the world be like? Would it be a better or worse place? Then I asked you your rationale to back it up. And then the first things that came to mind with these 5 religions down below that are considered the world religions. Now, if I could pool all those discussions we had, and they were fantastic, purposes of religion were quite obvious, a lot of them being hope and an ethical guideline and comfort and explanation to our origins and the afterlife and community. And a lot of people came up with very positive functions religious institutions serve. Now, the second question to whether the world would be a better place or a worse place was very controversial, and it ranged. And I think I heard all day a very dichotomous thing where religion has been a force of good, religion has been a force of not so good, for instance, the Crusades, but then people say, well, religions prevent people from doing the right thing. It really created a very rich dialogue, because if you look at history, there have been instances of positivity related to religion and instances of negativity, and we were going on all sorts of different scales. So I'm not here to change anybody's mind about anything. I'm just here to get you to think. Religion is a vital part of the human story. Now, in 90 seconds, this visual here from Maps of War, very cool site, will tell us the basic story of the world religions. And we start our story in India. And the first of the world religions is Hinduism. Quite a long time ago, close to 5,000 years ago, and we see Hinduism. And then the second of the world religions start with Abraham. Now, Abraham is the patriarch to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And these are the ancient Hebrews that we just learned about, and rule of law and 10 Commandments and all that good stuff. Now, they have a diaspora, meaning they were removed and they spread throughout the world, maintaining their culture. Now, Buddhism is the third of the world religions, and Siddhartha was Indian, not Chinese like a lot of people know. The death of Jesus, small pockets. These are the books of the New Testament, books to the Thessalonians and Corinthians, and Christianity grows slowly. But when it was adopted by the Roman Empire, with Constantine, we can see Christianity growing much larger. Now, the earliest of the world religions began in the Middle East, Islam. And then we can see it spreads very quickly, and it does go into formerly Hindu areas, Buddhist areas, Christian areas, and then we see a lot of movement around. We see a lot of change, in this case the Crusades, a lot of conflict and wars to establish the Christian world, the Islamic world, the Hindu world, the Buddhist world. But a game changer takes place in 1492 when Columbus connects the 2 hemispheres of the world. Now, Christopher Columbus, flying under the flag of Spain, was a Catholic nation, and then soon to follow were the British and the French and so forth, which were Christian nations. And then in the 1940s, we see the return of Israel, and that is a very brief and very non-detailed story of world religions. And there's a lot of pretty colors, because pretty colors are just cool. All right. Now, what world religions do, or what they have that other religions don't. Now, there are hundreds of religions, but world religions follow this criterion. Number 1, they answer fundamental questions all people ask. What happens to me when I die? What is the meaning of life? What what is my origin? These are fundamental questions all human beings ask, and these religions answer these. They adapt to the culture where they spread. So as these religions spread, they adapt to the people. So, for instance, this notion of Siddhartha being a very heavy-set Chinese man, when in fact he was an Indian prince, shows that when Buddhism reached China, there was some adaptation. If you've seen any photos of Jesus where he is blue-eyed and very blonde, most likely these were made in countries where the people looked that way. Where Jesus was born in Bethlehem, the Middle East, it's pretty unlikely he had blue eyes and blonde hair. They are adopted by the political leadership. When the political leadership says this is our religion, then it becomes a world religion and is portable. It has a message that transcends geography. So if I am back in ancient Egypt and I have the sun gods, that's not going to fly real well in Scotland. There's not a lot of sun in Scotland. If I say my God lives in the forest and you get to the desert, that's not going to work. You have to have a message that transcends geography. Now, of the world religions, the Western religions are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Abraham as their patriarch, monotheistic. They have some similar archetypes, some similar beliefs. So we consider these the Western religions. Now, the Eastern religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, polytheistic, reincarnation, karma. I'm adding Taoism and Confucianism. Now, whether this is a religion or not is subject to debate. I don't think you want to have this egghead debate right now, but there's certainly a belief system, and I will lump it in with these. But generally, these 5 are considered world religion without much debate or argument. These 2 are subject to debate and argument. So what are the functions of religions ultimately? Number 1 is cosmological. They answer to the question where man fits into the cosmos. And this is a very fundamental and an important question to mankind. And religion answers these questions. Number 2 is this mystical feeling that transcends the day-to-day. In our day-to-day lives, you go to class, you go to the grocery store, you walk your dog. You're not going to feel a deep, profound, meaningful experience from those experiences, most likely. But with religion, you can tap into something deeper and more profound and more meaningful than you would in your day-to-day life. And this is a mystical experience. Now, pedagogical is simply what you are taught. So oftentimes religion is taught from generation to generation, and it becomes a family thing, a cultural thing. And quite simply, we learn from those who came before us, parents, grandparents, and so on. And number 4 is sociological. It provides a group to identify with and have a network, and to have a group that you can identify with, affiliate with, socialize with, who's there when you need them in times of need. These are the 4 functions of religion. Now, it was a great discussion today. I'm really excited. And again, because this is a public school, that's more interesting than the black screen. Because it's a public school, I certainly will not advocate for any religion. I will stay very neutral. All of you are free to express yourself however you feel. So the reason it's being taught is if you teach the human story like I am attempting to teach to you, religion is essential to understand, to fully grasp this story. And I look forward to the next couple of weeks learning about all this good stuff. Have a good night.